Hello everybody, this is Esme and today I'm doing a video on me tacking up and grooming Casper. So I'm going to sort of just talk you through what I'm doing. So first, when I get Casper from the field, I just put his head collar on, get it all comfortable, and then I start leading him across the field to the gate. And as you can see soon, you can see Mickey likes to follow us all the way to the gate because he likes to say goodbye to Casper before I take him up to the stables. And they're in the field all the time at the moment, which is so nice. I just let Casper have a bit of grass and then I lead him all the way up. And you can see it was such a nice sunny morning that morning, so there's some like really pretty clips. So once I finally led him up all the way from the bottom field that they're currently in for the summer, I'll tie him up, and here you can see his little shadow, which is so cute. And then I just grab my grooming box and then I will give him a little pat and a hug and everything. And then after that I'll start grooming. So I just go over to my grooming box and the first thing I grab is my rubber curry comb, and I use this in circular motions all over Casper's body where you can see he's a little bit dirty, and it just brings all the dust up really nicely so I can easily flick it off later. And Casper actually really loves this because it gives him a nice massage, which is so good for his muscles and everything. And as you can see, he was being a little bit cheeky and eating the grass while I was grooming him, which was quite funny. His little nose poking underneath the fence to get some long grass. And then here are a few close-ups so you can really see the dirt coming up. And then this is just my plastic curry comb, which is actually a magic brush, but it's like a fake one. I think it's from the company HY, and you can actually see how much dust I'm getting off with this, which we previously brought up with the rubber curry comb. And I really like my magic brush. It's really good, especially if you're in a bit of a rush, but I sort of prefer using it mainly if Casper has any dried mud stuck to his fur or anything. And because it's a lot softer, it's so good for brushing his legs and things with, and his tummy. And it's also so good for picking up lots of loose fur, especially in molting season when there's literally hair everywhere, as you can see, and it just gets off the dried mud here so easily. It's like magic. Then I'll grab Casper's body brush, or because he's kept in a field I prefer to use a dandy brush, or sometimes if you're in the US or a different country you'll call a body brush a soft brush and a dandy brush a stiff brush. Now the reason why I like to use a dandy brush is because Casper's kept in a field, and if I used a body brush on him it would take up all the natural oils that are in his coat that protects it when he's out in the field. And also dandy brushes are a lot easier to flick off all the dirt, as you can see. And then I use my mane detangler and I just spray it all over Casper's tail because it's so thick and so difficult to brush through. And I also do the same with his mane, which is very long at the moment, I know, and I'm going to sort it out sometime this winter when he gets clipped and everything. So I just brush his mane through. I start at the bottom and then work my way up to try and get the knots out as easy as possible. And I know not everybody likes to brush their horse's mane every time they ride, however I kind of have to, just because Casper's mane is so long and so thick at the moment, just to kind of manage it. And then I just brushed his forelock as well. And then I brush through his tail, and again I start at the bottom and sort of hold like a big chunk just so it's not as painful for him, and then I work my way up to the top again. And usually in Casper's tail, because he's in a field, I find bits of twig, bits of leaves, everything. I don't know if anybody else finds that. And then I use my small little face brush all over Casper's face to get rid of any dust, which is actually really important because this is where your bridle will sit. It means it won't get as dirty. Then I grab my hoof pick and I also grab my hoof brush, and my hoof brush is actually supposed to be like for washing your dishes with. However, I like it because it's got a larger surface area than the ones that usually come on a hoof pick. And also I really like my hoof pick because it's really sharp, and I always find the ones which have a brush on the end, they're not as sharp and I find them a bit annoying sometimes. So I just pick out all of Casper's hooves and then afterwards I'll just brush them out. Now you might wonder why Casper has all 4 shoes, and the reason is because it means he has a lot more grip and I can put studs in when I'm doing cross country or show jumping on grass. And sometimes I'll put hoof oil on if I'm going to pony club or a show. And of course Casper gets lots of cuddles. And then I grab my saddle pad. This one, if you're wondering, is the Lemure Close Contact in the colour blueberry, which I absolutely love, and it fits Casper's saddle so well. And then I'll grab my half pad just because it's a bit more comfortable for him, and then my saddle, and I'll just pop that on. I like to move it forward a bit and then slide it backwards just to make sure that it's definitely in the correct place. And then I'll start to put my girth on and do that up. And the reason why in this video I put the saddle on and everything on the right hand side, I know you're supposed to put it on the left hand side. The reason is because the lighting was better, and also it's good for your horse, especially if you have a young one, to get it used to doing things on different sides, just in case you're at a show or something and it's easier to tack up on one side rather than the other. And then I'll grab my stirrups and then just do my girth up a little bit more as well. And after that I'll go into my tack room and just grab Casper's tendon boots. Now I like to use tendon boots on Casper when I'm doing show jumping, just in case he knocks any fences. And I did put the boots on a little bit too high. I did slide them down a bit more after this just because I couldn't really see what I was doing because the sun was shining in my eyes. But when you put boots on, you should always make sure that the velcro or poppers are going towards the horse's bum rather than towards the horse's head. Then when Casper's all finished and tacked up and everything, I like to grab my riding boots and I'll just put them on. Today I used my tall boots just because I thought it would look nicer, when usually when I'm just training at home I'll just use my jumper boots with chaps or just jumper boots with socks, as I like to keep my tall boots nice for competing and everything. I also put my helmet on after that, and then I unclip Casper's head collar and slide his reins over the top, and then I'll undo his head collar and just slide that off. He's usually really good with, and then I just gently put on his bridle and do it up, and then we're all ready to go and do some show jumping.
In my feet, searching for a glimpse of sunshine. World is great, can't even find a skyline. Just another restless night. Heartaches from trying to get it right. Canopy of broken feelings. How do I keep on breathing? And you came along. All my doubts are now forgone. Nothing's hazy. Yeah, you're the light. You're my Apricity. Let the snow fall down. Wind and to cause I found you're my safety in a winter storm. You're my Apricity. No fear, just tell me and I would run away, hide away with you. Together there's nothing we can't do. Storm's coming in fast, let the snow fall down. Not afraid because you came along. All my doubts were then forgone. Nothing's hazy, yeah, you're the light. You're my Apricity. Let the snow fall down. Wind and hail too, cause I found you're my safety in a winter storm. You're my Apricity.
Go.